Welcome aboard the Just Tired Now ship with your host, Captain Naga. Remember that? I used to do that all the time. It just came out like that. But yeah, this is on the Just Tired Now show. Just T-A-I, not T-H-I like the weed. So this is where I just come to combine my mind, my heart, connect those two circles, let whatever come out, come on out. I used to do this all the time. But this video in particular is coming from an imagination that I had a while back of Googling. When I was on Google, I saw typing in magic mushrooms as I do from time to time, just see what pops up, what's new in the news and the mass media and stuff like that. And then I see that questions appearing and like what's the most asked questions on Google related to magic mushrooms, psychedelic, psilocybin magic mushrooms. So before I go farther into this video does not condone the use of illegal or legal drugs. What you decide to do with your body is what you decide to do. Do not recreate anything that you see or hear on the Just Tired Now show. Disclaimer. So now I already have it typed in. So let's So the first question we see here, I'm not gonna go through all of it. I'm just gonna pick around. But says, do mushrooms show up on a drug test? Do mushrooms show up on a drug test? And my answer before I click on what Google has to say is yes and no. It only stays in your body for like I think like 1 to 3 days. 1 to 3 days. Compared to marijuana, cannabis, where it stays for 30 days. A real long time. And I always thought about that too. Because I said, the people, like even with cocaine, like not, even like people in the business, I always said they're doing some kind of drug that's keeps them up, but it leaves their body. And a lot of people say everybody's on cocaine and stuff like that, but a lot of people out here are actually doing psychedelics. There are a lot of people out in Silicon Valley popular enough where they're creating the technology that I'm using to broadcast to you right now, and the thing that you're using to watch me right now was created by somebody that went into this space and while working and created something magical that seems magical to society, new, something novel, something that seems alien from outer space. And that's what's going on. A lot of people are diving into the experience for their artwork, for their creativity, even people that's in the MMA for their fighting techniques. They're able to see things coming, but as well as drug tests. It does not appear. It goes out your system very fast. It goes out your system very fast. So let's see what they said on Google. Magic mushrooms are included in either panels. It's unclear how long blood tests or urine tests can detect psilocybin. Metabolites of other drugs that leave the blood within 12 hours, such as cocaine and amphetamines, can be detected in urine for 1 to 3 days. Oh, so they said 1 to 3 days, just like I was pointing out. So they were saying they ain't know. And I know this, I got my research from people that had to take drug tests. Like, I never had to take a drug test and was on mushrooms and stuff. But I have been, and I had to be on weed and things like that. And there's ways around to cut the corner. So get your job in. If you gotta work, there's ways to cut the corner. But yeah, with the mushrooms and stuff here, leaves your body very fast. So the detectable rate, hey, you can slip past the radar a couple times. Not saying go do it, but to each his own. So we're self-sovereign beings. We came to this earth to live out our actuality. So let's see what else they have. Are psychedelic mushrooms illegal? Oh! I have to say that they are illegal before I click on it. Give my top opinion. But no, let's switch it up. Let's see what Google said first. Psilocybin mushrooms are illegal because they are recreational drugs and thus considered to be antisocial in respect to the possibility of you leading others into your lifestyle of moral depravity. Wait, they ain't just going to get past me with that word. I know what it means through contents, moral corruption, wickedness. And look how they got it in here. It comes from Christian theology, the innate corruption of human nature due to original sin. So I'm glad that I'm breaking down this Google thing, because we're going to break down this Latin, crooked, preserved, because this is the stigmatism that has been placed on the psychedelics. And while I'm so enjoyed that you are here right now to see this tie breakdown, because we break this down a lot as a whole. So now I'm encompassing the whole fam right now when I'm talking. This is mixing my ideas, and this is just where we are. This is just where we are. Can you see how this saying the moral depravity, and it's some reason this comes up first on Google when people type it in. So to people that really don't have a sense of what's going on, this is their impression when they ask Google, when they ask the thing that is being run by ads. So in the government. So mushrooms have been around for thousands of years, used by gajillions, I'm not even going to exaggerate, used by indigenous cultures all around the world in different forms, because there's different species of psilocybin containing mushrooms, even ones that just contain psilocin, which is which the psilocybin converts to what's in your body. So it's different forms and different used for different ritualistic practices and cultures forever. But around the 40s and 50s, when they discovered it in Marina Sabrina, when I mean they, I mean the New York Times and Alan Rockefeller, when he went down to go and research this new thing that was popping up, and he got a ceremony through the great Marina Sabrina, and then he brought it back to America, and they was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, the therapy is could be used for therapy. You get like 10 years of therapy in one session, depending on the setting. And they were seeing all these other like magic, all these other explanations of the world around them that was never coming about before, that was just talked about in poetry or in religion or in very obscureness and like the surreal realm. They was able to experience this for themselves. So they were experimenting, doing trials that we looked up in previous just satire live streams and satire podcasts way back, because they still published their research. These people, this actually happened. It wasn't a myth, and they was getting way big results. But then guys like Timothy Leary came out, and they was popularizing it, telling people to tune in and drop out of school and things like that. So it was scaring the older people, just like older people are always scared of the younger squad. It just always happens. But in this case, the younger squad was on the psychedelics, and it was the wars going on, and it was making people not want to participate and just be a patriot just for patriotism's sakes, but be a person and a patriot. Be a person first, and then everything else follows. So this wasn't vibing right. And then people was since it was brand new to Americans, it was being used in ways that was having people trip out and not be able to talk coherently to the people around them, because of the ideals that America was already being based off of. So it was jiving up the system a little too much, and it was the Richard Nixon administration came in, and with the reefer madness, which was creating horrible, when I say horrible, I'm just saying that because it was a straight out lie. Horrible accusations about what marijuana does. Like, it makes people want to rape white women, and it makes people go crazy, and it's used by dirty Mexicans and minorities and stuff like that. It became the same stigmatism with the mushroom, that it was used by dirty hippies that just wanted to not have anything to do with society, and they was going to destroy the structure of everything that we stand for. And it was just fear and panic of the unknown, to say the least. So it was made illegal. With all the research, all the popular research that was being done, it was still shut down. and made Schedule 1 illegal because of everything that I was just mentioning. So then, years down the line, it was people that was still carrying about the research on the underground scene. And now in 2000, since 2018, we've been seeing changes with John Hopkins and stuff, and just in reports of people coming out on YouTube telling their own stories, and on Reddit and on Shroomery, of people telling about their personal experience, but from a non-biased point of view, because mushrooms will put you in that non-biased point of view, where there is no, where it's not based off of the ways that you grew up, but you seeing how you grew up and how it put you in the place where you are now. So the antisocialness, what they say on the Google when it came up, the antisocial thing, that came up because people didn't have nobody to talk to, and it was so suppressed that when somebody would try to talk about it, it would be pseudo sayings or programmed sayings, so to speak, that will come out that is so ingrained in everybody that when it's spoken about, it would make the person not want to talk. Like, oh, you sounding crazy, or oh, that's the devil. Or, oh, Jesus went like that, or Muhammad wouldn't do that, or anything, whatever it falls under, or whatever it falls under. Or, oh, that's a white boy drug. That's that white boy stuff. Like, you don't want to get into that. You want to keep yourself grounded. You want to keep yourself grounded in reality. And you hear things like that, like grounded in reality, and all these bells start ringing in your head, like, oh yeah, I don't want to lose myself. I want to be great. I want to be like this person. I want to be like Martin Luther King. I want to like be like the people that's been taught to us through school as heroes, as idols. And we learned about their lifestyles and stuff as ways to practice to achieve greatness, or mimic in order to achieve greatness. So yeah, I just going in because I saw how it was saying they was the first, second thing that came up when you type in why are psychedelic mushrooms illegal, and it's a war, as Graham Hancock says, a war on consciousness as well. And as I've been saying as well, because I'm seeing in myself how much I was suppressed as a teenager, and it made me depressed because it was ways that I was feeling as a teenager and as a kid growing up. I was real imaginative. I was real expressive. I was always about the adventure, going out and just doing things. And then it was all coming down because I was coming across ideas that wasn't fitting in with my family members, and that was because of the religion and because of the culture. Religion is same thing to me. Well, not really same thing, but it's under the same umbrella. So when the people that I talked to, and for myself, it actually brought me back, and it makes me feel stronger. And not even I'm performing at a more higher intellect level. Like, I've able to put together concepts and ideas at a pace that I was not able to do and just a couple years ago. But it's just like I was able to do this as a child. But now that I'm an adult, I have different things to apply it to. And I have I'm still going up the ladder. I see it. And I would never seen this if it wasn't for mushrooms, if it wasn't for DMT. I would have thought that I learned everything and that I knew everything that I had it to feel already. And that things were just going to come, and I had to base things based off of how I was already viewing things. And that's how the rest of the time was going to be. But now my views on reality and on life and on the situations that I encounter on a daily basis are constantly adapting and changing up depending on what's going on. It's no more just like a stick in the mud. It's no more like can't loosen my shoulders, gotta oil it up or something like that. It's more I'm grooving, I'm moving with the waves, I'm surfing, grab your boards, let's go. Cause this is a wave now. And the mushrooms allow you to make your own instead of riding somebody else's. For going out for the surf. See the beauty in the sun reflecting off of the water. And where the waves crash and meets the sand. Meet me there. But yeah, that's why they were made illegal, mostly because of the stigmatism that was placed on it, that was based off of misunderstandings, and not being able to get out of where you are to understand something that has really always been there. Oh, that's my rant on that. Probably do two more questions. I'm gonna save some of you go with the fan. Let's see what they got. Let's see what else they got. Drop a like on this video, guys, if y'all enjoying this. I answered that one. What schedule are magic mushrooms? Are psychedelic mushrooms legal in the U.S.? That's like the same as the first question. How long does a mushroom trip last? A mushroom trip lasts orally 5 to 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours. And it can be the you'll start feeling a come down after like the fifth, 6th hour. So you'll still be in the zone after that. You want to be still, if it's your first times doing it, have some time off the next day so that you can assimilate yourself and just come to terms with a lot of things. And then you keep the ball rolling. After that, you're going to see how it doesn't really put you in no kind of rut. It's just like you enjoying, you coming back to yourself in a whole different way. But for how long does a mushroom trip last? If you put it in a tea, strain it out in some tea so that it doesn't affect your stomach. Some people like that, and I know for me for sure, when they're not fresh, the stomach can really get to me, and it can make your trip seem sour. That gut start just having a voice, and it start making things seem way worse than they are. Way worse than they are. So the tea method, it makes the trip shorter, but it hits harder. Add some lemon to it, some lemon tech, it will hit faster. So and you will feel the effects within, if you have an empty stomach and you're fasting, the effects come on like 10-15 minutes, like for me, and for some and for others 30-40 minutes. So with the tea, it lasts about 3-4 hours as opposed to 5 to 6 hours. So it hits you harder and is out, and you may pee a lot more. You may pee a lot more. So that's how it is for that method. And as well, it all depends too on if you took the dose all at once, or if you were snacking on it, or if you were sipping on it. It all depends. It all depends because it will hit you in waves. Mushroom come in waves. You will think you down and like, I'm cool, and then it will come back. So if you were sipping, it's going to really do that because you didn't do it all at one time. So it's still processing through your system. It's still processing through your system and hitting everything that it's supposed to hit, like the tryptamines. So it can be an all-nighter. Once you have more experience and go in, you adapt to different situations and tune into your own groove, where you probably just be munching on them slowly, and just keep eating it, or you'll just have them all on one side and engulf them down. Put some peanut butter on your tongue so you don't smell it, because the flavor gets to you, or clog up your nose so that you can keep finishing, depending on how much you're eating it, because all of it can be repulsive to taste and stuff. That's why people disguise it in different methods. But yeah, that's answer that question in short. Are mushrooms bad for your brain? Oh, wait, let me see what the Google said. 6 hours. On average, a single dose of mushrooms will produce a trip that lasts somewhere between 3 and 6 hours. Of course, a trip can vary depending on a number of factors. A person will not automatically trip if he or she does shrooms. What do they mean by that? A person will not automatically... Yeah. You had to take some time. It takes some time. And you had to take enough. Sometimes a lot of people don't take enough. Alright, let's go to the next question. The next question is, is, drum roll, I was just on there. Are mushrooms bad for your brain? No, they are not bad for your brain. They are the safest drug around. And what I mean by drug, I'm just talking about that it has a people talk about the chemical structure. So when we talk about drugs, everything is a drug. We're made of drugs. So we're just a bunch of chemicals. Shout out to Paul Stamets that put this out into the top here. We're just made of a bunch of chemicals. Bunch of chemicals, and that's what, and we just ingest different chemicals that interact with our chemicals and it causes reactions. But mushrooms are not bad for your brain in the least bit. They actually promote neuroplasticity when used along lion's mane's mushrooms. It creates new groove tracks in your brain so that the traumas, it plays out the traumas that was in your life, is now you able to carve out and see things, see everything from a new perspective. And it's correlated in the brain from fMRI scans that they had from people on doses of mushrooms and LSD, and they put them under there and they saw how parts of the brains were interacting with each other that were not usually interacting with each other, and it was like hyperly interacting with each other like real colorfully. They were just dancing all around. So the perceptions, that's why, but I don't know why, but the neocortex and the visions and the parts that characterize that whole language and memory, like in your amygdala, just all of that just start all processing, all talking to each other. I say they don't feel so lonely anymore. The parts of your brain don't feel so lonely anymore, and they start connecting, and what it produces is a better person. It really does. Through the experience of the people that I'm talking to, it makes them they're always very thankful for the experience. But sticking to the brain is not bad for your brain in the least bit. In the least bit. It's not smoke. You're not inhaling anything. So it goes through your body, and then it goes through the brain, and the blood, and it carries on out and does what it does. But the way that it's promoting intelligence is why I'm on it. Is the reason why I'm like talking about this right now, because I'm experiencing like a kind of super intelligence. I was watching a movie yesterday titled The Phenomenon. I don't know who's in it, but it's a famous old actor. Well, he still makes movie now. It's called The Phenomenon. And it was while a bright light hits him, and he starts to be able to learn languages really fast, learn manuals to put together cars. He worked at a car shop. He able to do a lot of things a lot more rapidly than the pace that he was at before. And it's a lot of nootropics going around that is being created to promote brain growth and let people have a clearer state of mind when they're studying a subject without having worries and things get in the way, but allow them to focus on the subject in an imaginative type way so that they grasp the subject as a child does. So now they can produce things a lot faster without taking so long. And that's what I'm finding with the mushrooms, is the way that it advances my level of thinking and the way that I'm able to think. Alright, next question. Whoa, did they rearrange the questions? Oh, they're adding more questions as I keep them here. Oh, that's dope. So we're going to do one more. And the one that we're going to do is... Are mushrooms from space? Wait, first, I keep forgetting. Let's see what they say. Shrooms can make you feel good. More specifically, magic mushrooms affect the brain's prefrontal cortex. I said that, neocortex. Part of the brain that regulates abstract thinking, thought analysis, and plays a key role in mood and perception. Are mushrooms from space? Let's see what they say. Mushrooms make their own wind. The cap of the mushroom is full of spores, much like a fruit is full of seeds. But unlike a tree, the majority of an individual fungus is hidden underground, usually forming a network that connects multiple fungi together? That doesn't answer the question. I'm gonna follow the page and see. But I would say like Terrence McKenna and Ozo, we were just pots. Wait, let's see what they say. Fungi gave us alcohol. Mushrooms make their own wind. Alright, there. Wait. Yeah, let's finish what they were saying. Consider a mushroom as a fungal equivalent to the fruit of a tree. The cap of the mushroom is full of spores, much like a tree. Yep. It behoves a mushroom to send its spore children as far away as possible, so the offspring don't compete with their parent for nutrients, for example. And unlike many tree fruits, only a few animals disperse mushrooms. Instead of relying on others to do their dirty work, mushrooms make use of the tools they have. Their main tool is water. When it's time to eject their spores, mushrooms release water vapor. The water evaporates, cooling the air immediately surrounding the mushroom. The cooler air is denser than warm air, and so it flows out and away from the mushroom, creating lift. This lift can carry spores up to 4 inches, 10 centimeters, both horizontally and vertically. So that's the wind. That's why it goes like, wow. I didn't know that. That's lovely. I did not know that. Cool. So are mushrooms from space? That just had me think of asteroids. Asteroids that hold water. Water is water on comets and asteroids that's floating through space right now. Right now, even according to your NASA. So the fact that mushrooms create vapor so that it can help carry the spores. If spores was somehow on another planet, was locked onto somehow caught on a destroyed planet, or was released into the atmosphere and floated into space, because they could survive the vacuum of space too. But like get into the water of the asteroid and be carried, and then it crashed on the planet, and then the spores is released because they was trapped in that water, and then they made it here to Earth. I was saying before, Terrence McKenna, to give him credit, was the first one that was postulating this, saying that the mushrooms probably came from space. That the spores, like they said, the parents like to make sure the children get out as far as possible. And this is according to the BBC, as far as possible. And the way the mushroom has you think is way far out, dude. It's way far out. So they bring you to things that you don't even imagine until you see it. And you're like, wow. And then it's even more behind that. So it's not too far-fetched for me to think, the tie that the mushroom came from space on a type of ice asteroid. And that this is what it made for itself. It made it do this. The mushroom wanted to do this. It wanted to come here to this dimension of Earth, or this Earth. And then work alongside the people that was here, or the specimens that was here, in order to create the reality that we're in now and that we're seeing here, like a symbiotic relationship, a nature loving relationship, because it's nothing but nature. It's nothing but nature. It grows up from the ground. Oh wow, this is awesome. Just think about these things. Just think about these things. And start the conversation. The conversation. Oh, but that's a nice way to end this. We're gonna go over some more questions later, just to get this out there, in singular videos, so it can be easily shared. But share all of these things. Share this video with your friends and family. Don't be afraid to start the conversation. Start a wave. Grab your surfboard. So, always, guys. And Be safe out there with your mushrooms and your psychedelic use. And if you need a place where you can come to talk, join in on the Side Tie Podcast, where you can come and tell about the experience that you probably don't want to tie on with the people around you, but we'll tie it on, and then you'll see how you can make yourself comfortable around people around you. Or it's just, if not, hey, time is a million. We got a long time to go, and you never know what's in store. But that's what I have today. That was Magic Mushroom Google Answers, however we're going to title this out. Let me know in the comments below any questions that y'all have related to Magic Mushroom, psychedelics, and anything like that. Love you guys, tie always. And we all tie, but do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. Take care. Join the Discord. So we always live on there 24/7. Adios to always. Oh, and consider donating to the channel through the Cash App, or I have a Patreon set up too, where the Cash App would be a little more direct, so we can continue to grow the channel, better equipment, get some my own Wi-Fi, stuff like that, so that the experience, I want to bring people on here to actually with video, so that I can interview people like true life stories. I want to get Kalindi on here. I want to get Ozo on here, King Eyes, my mama, anybody that want to come on through. It's just to have that experience set up and have it readily available when the moment calls. So if you want to donate that way, hit me up. And the Just Tainow store, come and explore. All of those things go to the betterment and the buildment of this channel. The betterment and the buildment. I love you guys. You know how we make up our own words. Tainow store, come and explore at the Tainow store, come and explore, Tainow store, come and explore, Tainow store, come explore the Tainow store, come and explore.